There's a new fan theory about Avengers 4 that is making the rounds on the internet. This one might explain Easter eggs from Thor: The Dark World that hinted at something that happened when Thanos did the snap. We are breaking it all down. This is the Nerdy News Rundown. Let's get you filled in. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope your week's chugging along well. Now, before we get into this news, I need to shout out Thomas Brown, who got the nerd card question correct from my Marvel video from yesterday. You definitely know your stuff when it comes to Avengers comic books, so shout out to you, Thomas, and we'll do another nerd card question at the end of this video. And just a quick little update on Avengers 4 Trailer Watch 2018. Of course, guys, we've been talking about it. Something to keep an eye on this week is tomorrow night at the ArcLight Theater. Collider is hosting a very special screening of Avengers Infinity War with a Q&A from the Russo brothers. Some people think that's when we might get the trailer, so wanted to just update you. Keep an eye out on that tomorrow. It is, of course, at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which translates to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So around that time, I'll be watching on the interwebs, seeing if anything drops. If it does, we'll break it down here. Now let's get into this cool fan theory. I love picking out these sweet fan theories that pop up on Reddit, giving a little bit of love to the Reddit user, and then talking about it here with the Den of Nerds community. This one comes from Mushbert Thor, a user on Reddit that posted this, I believe, yesterday, and it's a very in-depth, very cool theory, so I highly suggest you go check out the original post and dive through all of its details. Now, we'll go over some of the basic stuff here because it does tie into a theory that I have been working on, of course, with Al Schuler. Been teasing that with you guys. That video, you might want to look out on the channel, will be dropping either today or tomorrow here on the Den of Nerds, so make sure you subscribe to get that. But this theory has a lot to do with Erik Selvig, the character from Avengers, Thor 1, and Thor: The Dark World. Erik Selvig was, of course, mind-controlled by Loki in the first Avengers movie. He helps Loki to build the bridge that eventually helps bring the Chitauri to Earth from wherever they're hiding in deep space. Now, in Thor: The Dark World, Erik Selvig is still sort of mad, kind of dealing with what it was like to not only have a god inside his head, but to be exposed to the Mind Stone. Of course, getting knowledge from an Infinity Stone would be an overwhelming thing. It's really crazy, and we believe that this is why Erik Selvig has all of this knowledge in his brain. Now, in Thor: The Dark World, there's, of course, this scene where he has this chalkboard completely filled out with all sorts of crazy stuff, and this chalkboard is chock full of Easter eggs for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, there are multiple cool Easter eggs on here, like I just said. Check out the Reddit post for all of the details of it, but we're going to go over a few here that hint that Erik Selvig might have known that the snap was coming and what it might do to the multiverse. Number one, the mention of 616 universe. Obviously, this is a tease to the 616 universe from Marvel Comics, which is the main continuity universe in Marvel Comics, and there, of course, are a ton of other ones in the multiverse. This means Erik knew that we were one of many universes out there and even gave us the name 616. Another cool thing on here is the mention of crossroads, and with some of the math and formulas around there, this really refers to sort of a converging point of different spaces in time. A lot of people believe that the crossroads is something like Sakaar, a place where there is a sort of converging of different parts of space and time, and of course where time kind of exists in a different way than it does in other parts of the universe. There is this mention of a cosmic eclipse, which a lot of people think refers to Vormir and what was going on with Red Skull and the Soul Stone. There's also a mention of the nexus of all realities, which a lot of people believe might be in the quantum realm. This might be something or some place that the Avengers eventually go to in Avengers 4. Now, the most interesting part of the board concerning this theory has to do with this statement here. Now, this is the fractal gateways connecting multiple brands, which actually translates to an actual quantum mechanics theory about slipping through to different realities. Now, all of this ties together with a word on the chalkboard that is underlined with a squiggly underline, and this would be the fault. Now, Mushbert Thor believes that this idea of the fault might be something that happens when an event like the snap takes place. Of course, Erik would have been imbued with all of this knowledge and information, and then there's the vision that Tony Stark gets and that Thor has in Age of Ultron. It would seem that this possibility of the stones all being gathered and the snap occurring is something that a lot of these characters sort of had some kind of a knowledge about, but Selvig probably had the most knowledge about it because, of course, he's a physicist. He sort of understands what is happening with the cosmos. He was very afraid of the converging event that was happening in Thor: The Dark World. And looking at what he has written on this chalkboard, perhaps he was really afraid that what would happen when the snap occurred would be a phase shifting of sorts that would cause all of these souls to leave one reality and go to another, which would take place at the nexus of all realities. But this kind of event could create what was known as the fault. Now, the fault may well be this event that sort of causes the multiverse to start collapsing in on itself. This would be what the theory proposes would gather these greater threats than Thanos, which a lot of people are still referring to as the Living Tribunal, the One Above All, or Eternity. Now, if you've been following my thoughts on all of this, I think that while those cosmic entities might well show up in Avengers 4, they are not going to be bothered by what Thanos did. They might want to stop him from doing anything else that's crazy, but especially when it comes to the One Above All and the Living Tribunal, I do not believe they will think of the actions that Thanos took as sort of out of balance or wrong. What I personally think is going to happen is if this fault actually breaks open, if something that Thanos does, or rather something that the Avengers do in Avengers 4, causes this fault to just explode and have this collapsing in on the multiverse, that this would be something that would get the attention of not those cosmic entities, but the Beyonder. This is all predicated on the idea that I think we are heading towards secret wars in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A lot of this will be further explained in the video series that I have coming out. But this theory by Mushbert Thor proposes that Selvig knew about the snap, that he knew what was going to happen when the snap occurred, and that in his theory he proposes maybe Thanos tries to undo the snap, which would just further cause chaos in the cosmos. However, I personally believe that there will be something done by the Avengers in Avengers 4 to combat against Thanos, which will cause the fault and begin the collapsing of the multiverse, which will be the major drama or conflict for phase 4 of the MCU. So yeah, that's the news out there, guys. This really cool Reddit user's theory, Mushbert Thor, has me thinking a lot. I think it's very interesting. There's obviously a lot of teases and hints on the chalkboard that Erik Selvig had in The Dark World. Have you seen any of these theories? Did you check out this Reddit post yesterday? What do you guys think about this? And what do you think about my addition to this theory, which kind of means that we're going to be going towards Secret Wars, this idea that the Beyonders are coming in? What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comment section below. Now let's check that nerd card before we get out of here. I want to know, what is the name of the actor that plays the Erik Selvig character in the MCU? What's the name of that dude? And do you think he's going to be in Avengers 4? Answer that question in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and nerdy day, and I will see you in the next video.